In Ukraine, we have a lot of outstanding people who are popular not only in our country, but also in other countries. One of them is Boris Paton.
Boris Paton was born on the 27th of November 1918 in Kiev. By origin, he came from noble family of Paton, the tradition of which was service for the motherland. His father Yevgeny Paton was an outstanding scientist and engineer, founder and head of the Electric Welding Institute. In 1936 to 1941, Paton studied at the Kiev Industrial Institute and got the profession of an electrical engineer. Boris was one of the most talented students and was the successor of his father. He continued and brilliantly developed the work started by Yevgeny Paton. Along with intensive work at factories, he continued the research work. In 1942, he designed a simple and reliable automatic welding machine. Later, Boris Paton carried out a number of important investigations of static properties of automatic machines for submerged arc welding. He showed that optimum characteristics are typical of the automatic machines, with a constant speed of wire feed completed with power sources having a quick response voltage control. Later, this principle of control was used as a basis for design of semi-automatic machines for shielded gas welding. Boris Paton was working fruitfully on completing investigations connected with conditions of stable burning of arc and its control. In 1951, Boris Paton was elected a corresponding member of Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. Under the supervision of Paton, there were made many discoveries in the field of welding and many new technologies were designed. In 1953, after his father's death, Boris Paton was appointed the director of the Paton Electric Welding Institute of Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. Under his supervision, a lot of progress in welding science and technology was made in the 20th century. His technologies are used in many countries. Paton is still the long-term chairman of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. He holds a doctoral degree in technical sciences and is known for his works in electric welding. Paton's father, Yevgeny Paton, was also famous for his works in electric welding. The first welded bridge in Kiev, constructed under the supervision of Yevgeny Paton, bears his name. In the early 1970s and 1980s, Paton had advised the Soviet authorities not to build the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. And we see now how right he was. Boris Paton deserved to be known all over the world.
One more talented Ukrainian is Alexander Dovzhenko.
Alexander Dovzhenko was born in the village of Sosnitsa, located in Chernihiv region, Ukraine. His father and mother were illiterate. Dovzhenko studied at primary school and then in the higher elementary school. He was good at studying and was an excellent pupil. Dovzhenko grew dreamy. He lived in two dimensions, the real and the imaginary. Passion for something special he didn't have. He thought he could all, but a whole dream in the choice of future profession flew in various fields. Although his parents were uneducated, Dovzhenko's semi-literate grandfather encouraged him to study, leading him to become a teacher at the age of 19. Though he escaped military service during the First World War because of a heart condition, but during the Soviet-Ukrainian War he fought in the army of the Ukrainian People's Republic against the Red Army. In 1919, in Zhytomyr, he was put into prison and sent to a concentration camp. Later, he had to accept the Soviet rule in Ukraine and even served as an assistant to the ambassador in Warsaw as well as in Berlin. Upon his return to Ukraine in 1923, he began illustrating books and drawing cartoons in Kharkiv. Довженко turned to film in 1926 when he landed in Odessa. For his film short, Довженко was awarded the Stalin Prize in 1941. 8 years later, in 1949, he was awarded another Stalin Prize for his film Michurin. Довженко served as a wartime journalist for the Red Army during the Second World War. After spending several years writing, co-writing and producing films at Mosfilm Studios in Moscow, he turned to writing novels. His patriotic novel «Зачарована Десна» is studied at secondary schools of Ukraine. Over a 20-year career, Довженко personally directed only 7 films, but he made a lot for the development of cinematography of the whole Soviet Union at that time. He was a mentor to the young Soviet filmmakers Larisa Shepitko and Sergei Parajanov. Довженко died of a heart attack on the 25th of November in 1956 in his cottage in Peredelkino. His wife, Larisa Solntseva, continued his legacy by producing films of her own and completing projects Довженко was not able to create. The Довженко Film Studios in Kiev were named after him in his honor after his death. During the Second World War, Довженко made several documentary films, wrote journalistic articles and essays. He wrote the screenplay for the film Ukraine in the Fire in 1943. His films became a classic of cinematography. His work is known far beyond the borders of our country. Ukrainian cinema really achieved world fame thanks to Alexander Довженко. Ukrainian people are proud of this extraordinary person.
Another person we are proud of is our compatriot Volodymyr Borshev, a talented artist, historian and teacher. He was born on the 2nd of January in 1957 in the village Dukhanivka in Konotop district. Volodymyr's mother was an ordinary peasant woman. She liked drawing, painting, singing Ukrainian folk songs. Besides, she was good at embroidering. Drawing, embroidering and picture art was passed to her son in his early childhood. Everything she did and created induced him to work. She was his first art teacher. In his childhood, Borishev decided he would become an artist in the future. While at school, Volodymyr took part in different artistic contests. He made illustrations to newspaper articles and stories. He won some competitions and got some awards, diplomas and even paints and paper, which was the best prize for him. When Volodymyr grew up, he really became a talented artist and he has created many artworks and his paintings are well known in Konotop, Ukraine. He has had many exhibitions in the city where he lives now. Later Volodymyr Borishev got interested in history of his native land and even graduated from history faculty of the Sumy State University. Now he is doing a lot of research work on the history of Konotop, makes speeches and gives lectures to students interested in history. He has been a member of National Union of Historic Researchers of Ukraine since 1999. He wrote a historic book about our city, Konotop Pages of the Past. The book is popular with Konotop people and is real treasure for young generation. Borishev spent some years in Wrocław, Poland, where he also painted some of his pictures. He warmly remembers that time and speaks with respect about Polish people and their beautiful country. We visited the extraordinary person and interviewed him. He told a lot about his artistic works and awards. Volodymyr lives with his family in his own house, where he also has his art studio. He has a wife and 2 children, a son and a daughter. His children studied at Konotop Gymnasia and both have artistic talents. Daughter Olena graduated from Kyiv Institute of Design and now works as a designer. His son also has a higher education, but his profession is not connected with art, as in his opinion it is not profitable. Volodymyr Borshnev likes teaching painting to children and young people. He works at Konotop Center of Children and Youth Creativity as an art teacher. His pupils are winners of many national competitions of young artists. He helps them to organize art exhibitions of their own works. Borshnev mostly paints landscapes, historic pictures. He depicts city streets, beautiful nature, urban and rural scenes. Sometimes he goes to the Caspian Mountains and works there. He has had several personal exhibitions in Ukraine and one in Wrocław, Poland. We are proud of this talented compatriot and are sure that he is worth being known in other countries.